Okay, now let's go to the last part of the question. If I need to combine between h and k in one functions, how can I graph it? Here are the steps. Okay? But before we go to the steps, I need to read something important here. The vertex form, so we call this one is a vertex form of a quadratic function is a times x minus h to the power of 2 plus k, where h and k is the vertex or the center, and a or s, which is axis of symmetry, is x equal h. Okay, so axis of symmetry always is h. Okay, and maximum or minimum, we can know maximum or minimum if a greater than 0. Sorry, if maximum opposite, if a greater than 0 is minimum, if a less than 0, it's maximum. So it's y equal, okay, y equal k. So what's k is the question. Okay, now let's go to the graph. First step, we need to identify the vertex h and k. Okay, second step, we need to identify is it positive or negative. If it's a positive, it's up, open up. If it's negative, opens down, which is downwards. Okay, you can use this step to graph, or I will use the table way, which is because you already understand how to use the table way. So forget about this step for now. Okay, now let's start do this graph this function here. Okay, now first step, do you remember we need to identify h and k. So what's h and k here in this question? So h and k always opposite h, same k. So h is positive, so it should take it -1, and here should be -2. Now plot this point -1, -2, -1, -2 is here. So this is your vertex. Okay, now step 2, identify a. A here is equal what? -3. -3 is less than 0, so this one it will be downward. Okay? It's open, down. So my function, it should be look like this. So do I have maximum or minimum? I have maximum. Okay? So I have maximum, not minimum. Okay? Step 3, let's create the tables. So now the tables, it will be x, y. Okay, so what's x and y? So always, what should I write in the middle of my tables here? So I have to write h and k. So h and k here is -1 and -2. Now pick 2 points less than -1. Pick 2 point greater than -1. So it should be -2, -3. Greater than -1 is 0, then 1. Now make your tables, substitute the numbers in the formula. Okay, you can substitute this number here, okay, in the formula, and you can use your calculator or you can use it mentally. Okay, I will use the calculator for only this question. So now this is the calculator. So I have to write -3. Okay, just write everything here in the calculator. Okay, -3 times, okay, -3, okay, plus 1 to the power of 2, okay, minus 2. Okay, so just put everything in the calculator, you will get the answer is -14. So write -14. Now let's try substituting -2 in the x here. Okay, so it will be, now be smart and use, okay, the arrow to change the value, okay, and write -2 here, put equal, so the answer is -5. Okay, now because axis symmetry, this one should be -5, this one should be -14. So now I have my tables. Now I can graph, okay. So now -2, -5 is here, okay. Then I have -1, -2 is here, okay. Sorry, okay, sorry. -2, -5 is here, then -3, -14 is here. Then 0, -5 is here. Then 1, -14 is here. So now connect the points. It will look like this one here. Okay. So now if I ask you now number 4, which is what is the axis of symmetry? Okay, what is the axis of symmetry in this question? The axis of symmetry is this one here, right? This one is the axis of symmetry. Or if you remember from the previous slide, if I go here, what is the axis of symmetry? Is H. What's H here? H is -1. So the axis of symmetry is what? -1. And if you go to the graph, yes, what's the value here? It's -1. Okay. Now, what is the second one, which is the maximum? Because I told you it's downward, so it's maximum. So what's the maximum here? The maximum is y equal -2, which is this one here. Y equal -2. Also, I told you here the maximum, okay, or minimum, it's always k, right? So now what's k here? It's -2, so my maximum is -2. So you can identify the axis of symmetry and maximum or minimum, okay, using the equation without graphing. Okay, clear? I hope it's clear. Let's take one more example, then we finish here. So we do the same step. First, center, second, A, then table, then plot the points, graph it, final answer. So first step, center, H and K. So what's the H and K here? H and K. H always opposite side. 1, -7. Okay. Number 2, identify A. What's A here? A is +2. 2 greater than 0. So that's mean is upward. Okay. Upward because it's greater than 0. So do I have maximum or minimum? I have minimum. Okay. Now, number 3, let's create the tables, X and Y. What should I put in my middle of tables? I have to put H and K. What's H and K? 1 and -7. Now pick 2 points less than 1, which is 0, -1. Okay, pick 2 points greater than 1, which is 2 and 3. Okay. Now plot the points in the equation here. So now let's do this one mentally. Okay. So to do it mentally, 2 to the times -1 minus 1 to the power of 2 minus 7. So first of all, order of operation. Finish the bracket, finish the power, then finish the others. So -1 is -2 to the power of 2 minus 7, right? So now -2 to the power of 2 equal 4. Okay. 4 minus 7. 2 times 4, 8. 8 minus 7 is 1. So you're right, 1 here. So now let's take 0 and do it also mentally. So 0 minus 1, 1. 1 to the power, -1, sorry. -1 to the power of 2, 1. 1 times 2, 2. 2 minus 7, -5. So here is -5, here is 1. Now let's plot the points. 1 and -7. 1, -7 is here. Okay. Then 0, -5, 0, -5. Then we have -1 and 1. -1 and 1 here. Then we have 2, -5 is here. Then 3 and 1 is here. Then you can graph your functions. Your functions will look like this one here. Okay. Now, number 4, let's identify axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry, I told you, always H. So what's H here? H here is 1, so axis of symmetry is 1. If you look now here to the graph, this is the axis of symmetry, right? So what's the axis of symmetry? What's the value of this? This is 1. Okay? Now also, what is the minimum? Because I told you it's minimum. So what's the minimum value here? Okay, the minimum value also, I told you it's K. So what's K here? It's -7. So if you can check from the graph, what's the value here? -7. I hope these questions and graphing easy to you, girls or boys. You can now start doing the questions. And now I have to finish my lesson explaining this. So explain how the value of A, H, K change from this one to the basic functions. I told you before, if you don't have H, if you don't have K, so that's mean it's 0. And if you don't have A always equal 1. So the answer here, the graph of f of x, okay, x is stretched or compressed by factor of A, okay, and is reflected over x if it's negative, and translated h unit horizontally and k unit vertically. Okay, I hope this makes sense to you. You can start solve these questions, and if you have any question, please contact me at my website. Have a good day. Bye bye.